All right, here we go.
Okay,
Psalm 27.
Psalm 27. God, with you lighting my way, shielding me, what could I fear? You saved me before. I've seen them fall, those who conspire to devour me. I've seen them, armies of them, weaken, fall. Now my heart has no fear, only desire for your ongoing presence. Let me in to the safety of you when times get tough again. Open your gates to me. Welcome me, shelter me, nourish me, let me in. I'll get strong and face them yet again and win again, and let them know you arm me. I'm orphaned and alone, at war. I need your arms. I need to trust, to know you're here, lighting my path, giving me hope, and showing me the way out.
Beautiful. Lori, do you want to say why you chose Bernstein for your Psalm 27?
Over the last year, which is an amazing thing to say, I've always found Bernstein to be the one that's the author that speaks most directly to me.
Beautiful.
And so that's why I chose her.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Well, thank you for that. I love hearing the different voices, and I love the different explorations of Psalm 27 for this month of Elul. And now we're going to continue. I think, are we finishing Psalm
Yeah.
24? Are there some
No,
more?
we finished Psalm
Oh, we finished
24.
24.
We're on to Psalm 25, and there's a little bit of juggling today because it's just me. What we're going to do is, with one exception for Sherry, because she has to leave for a medical appointment, we're going to first have the authors who did not have a Psalm 24 offering read their Psalm 25 offerings. Then we're going to go back, depending on the time. I think we can do this and have everyone who had a 24 offering read their 25s. It does depend on just keeping the pace steady as we do this. So I'm going to trust everybody to help out with that. And Sherry Felt Dratfield, if
I
you
think
could,
that's a word to me to not talk too much. Okay.
no. Um, Sherry Dratfield, if you could explain, I think you want to tell us a little about the form of your offering and read it.
Well, I think I'll talk about the form after. That's okay.
Great.
And just read it first. Pathway. Step outside, although awash with shame. Are you getting feedback from me?
A little, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Step outside, although awash with shame. This time, pursue the path without the snare. Choose the road that has not yet a name. There is no sense in taking all the blame. Teach yourself there's comfort in the air. Step outside, although awash with shame. Seek roots and deep and new, chill and flame, hills and narrows, a course without compare. Choose the road that has not yet a name. There is affliction, those who will defame, and loneliness as you tread through. Do not despair. Step outside, although awash with shame. You struggle with past burdens, yet you came this far. Shed the shame, bear your secrets, share. Choose the road that has not yet a name. Throw away the compass, maps, and all that is the same. Ascend on faith, hope. Do you see the trail? Dare. Step outside, although awash with shame. Choose the road that has not yet a name.
Beautiful, Sherry. Talk to us.
Well, it is the poem, because Alter had talked about this envelope, and Levy in his footnote 4 talked about Derech and Orech and the 6 different verses that repeat the idea of a road or a path. The form of a villanelle came to me as the right form for this. Everybody's familiar with Dylan Thomas's Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night, Rage, Rage Against the Dying of the Light. And this is a highly structured poem made up of 5 3-line stanzas, tercets, followed by 1 quatrain with the 2 rhymes throughout and 2 refrains of the first line and third line of the first stanza. It's really complicated, but I think very beautiful. So that's how this came to me. You're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry. Yes, and I love it, and I love how you do that repetition that brings out the theme of what that psalm has deep within it, and make it very accessible to those of us who are English readers and might have missed it in the various translations in the Hebrew. Beautiful, really beautiful. Step outside, although awash with shame. That sense of, okay, you can't just get rid of the shame. You can't just say, I'm going to turn it off. But you can choose to not let it defeat you. I really love that, Sherry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Lisa Brown. Lisa has special formatting and a recording, so I'm going to try to pull everything up correctly for Lisa. Lisa, you said you wanted to speak for a minute before I shared your offering?
Yes, hi, thank you. So this is a song, I'm a dance musician. I've played all this different swing, Latin, Irish, a little bit of klezmer, all these dance bands throughout my life. And this is a Latin style song. I love Latin music, and this song reflects a salsa style. It's put together with the miracles of modern technology, of GarageBand, for those of you who are familiar with that. I'm playing some of the piano parts, and then some of the other piano parts are being played by Finale, which is a sort of a word processing program for music where you plug in the notes and then the computer will just play it for you. So it sounds like a full band, but it's all me and all the computer.
Okay, hold on just 1 second. Let me see if I can share all of this. Yikes. The text is, I'm going to share your text first so you can tell us what it is that you said. Here's your text.
Oh, okay. So this is called Lama, Why? And this is usually the songs that I've written a bunch of songs, and usually I start with the text. This time I started with the music, and I came up with the refrain, and then I didn't know what to do. So I wrote it out as an instrumental, and actually my band played this. We played this song as a dance piece for a couple of years. And then little by little over the years, the text has come to me. I mean, it's a kind of a dialogue between Kohelet, which is Ecclesiastes, and some of the Psalms. And then very recently, I inserted Psalm 25, which I felt was a nice counterpoint.
Fabulous, fabulous.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
Let me play this. Cross your fingers, everyone, that it will work.
Me too. Roll it up. Wait, it's not coming through.
You can't hear it? Okay, hold on a second. Let me try to share it a different way. We share with the sound.
There should be a way for you to share
Yes,
music.
there is. Okay, share
Yeah.
sound.
Right, share
I'm
sound.
going to put your text back up, and I'm going to play your music again, and let me know if this is, I'm going to turn it all the way up, and let me know if this is better. Yes?
Talim le'itot b'tzara Makom ha'mishpat shama ha'reisha U'makom ha'tzedek shama ha'rasha Amarti ani v'lebi et ha'tzaddik v'et ha'rasha Yishbot ha'Elohim Yishbot ha'Elohim Lama
Already.
ta'amot derachot
Adonai derech
Talim
gecha
le'itot
avineni
b'tzara
ve'etzra toratecha
Lama
already.
ta'amot derachot
Adonai derech
Talim
gecha
le'itot
avineni
b'tzara
ve'etzra toratecha
ושבתי אני ואראה את כל העשוקים אשר נעשים תחת השמש והנה דמעות העשוקים ואין להם מנחם ומיד ושקיהם כל אין להם מנחם. למה
מהר ענני
תעלו ברחוק,
אדוני
טלים לאיתות
אל תעלוכי
בצרה? למה
מהר ענני
תעלו ברחוק,
אדוני
טלים לאיתות
אל תעלוכי
בצרה? למה
אדוני
תעמוד ברחוק, טלים לאיתות בצרה? למה
אדוני
תעמוד ברחוק, טלים לאיתות בצרה?
אליך אדוני נפשי אשא, אלוהי בך בטחתי. דרכיך אדוני הודיעני, אורחותיך למדני. הדריכני ועמיתך ולמדני. כי אתה אלוהי אישי, אותך קיוויתי כל היום. זכור רחמך אדוני וחסדיך, כי מעולם המה אדוני נפשי אשא.
Wow, I love this, and I love to see this creativity. Lisa, thank you so much. Can you talk a little bit about your choice of the Psalms?
So, I was asked, so I wrote this first Lama, and that was my very first impulse to write. Why? Where are you? And then I couldn't think of what else I wanted to put in there. I mean, it's so big, and then I was asked for a class to write what my theology was. So then I was a little bit more focused. So my theology is like, why sort of, I suppose it's it. I mean, I suppose that was it at the time, is that the, sort of Habakkuk, but, who the prophet who wants to know why bad things are happening to good people and etc. But Kohelet really resonates with me on a lot of levels. I mean, just the practicality of it, that's really infused with also commandments to live a good life, transposed with really what does that mean? Calling out to God to really teach us what that means. What was interesting to me as I wrote this text was, especially when I wrote 25, is where I slowed down the text. Because I always feel that intellectually, I'm crying out to God to teach me what I should be doing and how to stay on the path. But really where I slowed down the text was, was this more imploring, like my hope is in you, and you are eternal, like these qualities that I yearn for are eternal. And that was interesting to me because that was my true emotional resonance with this song that
Beautiful.
I wasn't expecting.
Beautiful.
And went beyond my intellectual way that I thought about it. So that was my experience of putting this text to music.
Wonderful, thank you. And it's so enlightening for those of us who are not musicians to hear these words, for me at least, to hear the words, and to such a kind of a non-traditional but deeply moving musical setting. Thank you for that. Beautiful. And I love the text, really. And I like the linking of the different texts you used very much.
Still dancing in my chair here. Joan Friedman, you will be next. Joan Friedman with your Psalm 25 offering. Let me get down to it. Okay, here we go.
Day by day, not always, but too often ashamed. You released me from shame at the past that I could not control. Will you free me from the source of shame? Maybe, just maybe, you do.
Rabbi, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I keep forgetting that I'm on mute. So first of all, I love the contrast between the different kinds of psalms we're seeing today in response to this. But I really love how shame becomes this question that we're all focused on a little bit here. So would you talk to us about writing this, Joan?
Yeah, I mean, we had worked in the Chavruta about all these different angles on shame. And there's a particular thing in my own life that, of course, I'm not going to describe because I feel ashamed about it. And the line about release from shame at the past is really very, with this, was really happened like a year ago with the whole thing where it's Slichot, where we all wrote things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was on Yom Kippur. At one point you read them.
Uh-huh.
And I really, and I had felt so isolated about it.
Uh-huh.
And doing that, I just didn't anymore.
Uh-huh.
And I had always known that the
Wow.
theory was that the congregation does this together and takes it on.
Mm-hmm.
But I had never experienced it from that angle. Because I lead a pretty quiet life, you know, and
Uh-huh.
list all these things that we've done wrong. And like, mostly I haven't, because I have this very quiet life. I mean,
Uh-huh.
sometimes I say something I shouldn't have said, but like none of it's very, you know, there's nothing extreme that happens. Well, it's not entirely true, but mostly. And, but with this, so that happened. And so now I'm kind of working on, well, so stop, how do I manage to stop doing this? Right, which is,
Yep.
If it was easy, it would have happened a long time ago. And so I feel like maybe that is happening.
Uh-huh.
So it's actually, in its own way, a very literal description of something going on in my life, you know, where I'm dealing with stuff that I have done that I don't want to be doing.
Uh-huh. Wow, how many of us can relate to what you've just described? So powerful. And to see this in this psalm structure, really, really, really magnificent.
Well, thank you so much, Joan.
And we'll do that again at Slichot this year.
Oh, good. Donna Gray is next.
Dear God, a psalm, a prayer. In this time of uncertainty, when solid ground is nowhere to be found, I reach out to you from the depth of my unknowing. What you are, I can never grasp. Nevertheless, to you I pray. It's so easy to lose my way, oh God, my God, resisting what I wish were not so, allowing negative spirals of fear and anger, jealousy and despair to lure me into darkness. Shine light on the path that leads me back to you, my God. Have compassion for the naive mistakes of my youth, but also for mature lapses in judgment when I should have known better. I have fallen short so many times. Heal me of my shame. I ask for forgiveness from you, but more so from myself. You have given me discernment and the freedom to choose. May I choose to let go of self-imposed prisons built on the quicksand of resentment. May I choose instead the forgiveness and gratitude, positivity and laughter that say yes to life. Guide me out of myself and into the world and bring me to love. May I learn to live the Dharma words by Diane Friedman that are close to my heart. May I be happy with myself as I am. May I be peaceful with things as they are. May I love myself unconditionally. May I live with ease and joy. May I be free.
Wow. Donna, I love this. And I love, hold on, don't move that. I love this. Shine light on the path that leads me back to you, my God. I always say, what is it we pray for? You know, and what you've had, that just that prayer asking for not even the path, not even the way back, but the light that helps me find the path or be on the path with safety back to you. That's a really fantastic example. Have compassion on the naive mistakes of my youth. What a beautiful commentary on the Psalm's use of looking back. Really, really love this, Donna. You want to talk about it a little bit?
So I, like many of us, I was really struck by the use of the word shame. And, and when I thought of youthful mistakes, like, why did I make youthful mistakes? I didn't know any better. And, but then, even now when I could and maybe should know better, I don't necessarily. So, so like this is what I aspire to. And like even knowing that I'll never really reach it, but I just aspire, like every time I fall short, I just choose again.
Yeah.
Try again.
Exactly. And that's for me one of the deep parts of what prayer and the Psalms are like, which is to keep our aspirations in front of us. Because if we forget what we aspire to, then for sure we'll not achieve even half of that, right? But
even though we'll never get there.
Even though we'll never get there. Keeping our aspirations full of life and color and imagery and words help us keep moving in that direction, even if we'll never get to that final somehow place. I agree.
And
I agree with you that it's the getting back up and how to release ourselves from the shame or the guilt or the those negative feelings which make it difficult to get back up.
And I wanted to add the those Dharma words at the end. It's like it's a loving kindness meditation script from this woman named Diane Friedman in a Commit to Sit I'm involved in. And it just rings so true for me. And I wanted to share it with others.
Beautiful. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Donna. Next, we have Barbara Grindell.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, Psalm 25, inspired by Noah Aronson. I present myself to you, Shekinah, believing you will be accepting of me, showing me the path you have laid out. I am ready for whatever you show me. Shekinah, you have known what is right for me before even I did. Forget my sins. Teach me, lead me in your serenity to the path of truth and kindness. Forgive my mistakes. Help me to become open to you. Teach me to look to you. And as I do, you turn to me and show compassion. I wait for that still soft voice that is in me somewhere. Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared?
Beautiful. And I love the references to Noah Aronson there. And I love your use of Shekhinah as to have a very clear feminine and also a powerful one of the names of gods. So God, talk to us.
Well, Noah Aronson's words always have moved me. When I hear them sung in any kind of a synagogue setting, which everyone does. And I did go to Saturday morning services, which I hardly ever do. But because it was a meditation and yoga, I decided to go, and it was said again there. And I said, I have to get this into my psalm because it does speak to me. And of course, with the lul coming too, it was like all there. It was pushing me in that direction. And of course, to teach me, I wrote twice because that was important to me. Being a teacher and teaching people and now accepting teaching from someone else. It just moved me along. And of course, that still soft voice always resonates with me. It's in a lot of poems. It's in Mary Oliver's poem. So I wanted that there as well. And when I wrote it, I mean, it's in me, and the somewhere just came. The pen went to somewhere, and then I left it, because of course it's true. Who knows exactly where? It's somewhere in me, is this. And I'm striving to be a better person this time of year. Let's
Beautiful.
vote, and here it is. So.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think the teaching part is very powerful. Again, it's going back to that question of what do we pray for? Sometimes what we pray for is to be taught, to have a teacher, to have a help. You know, it's not, we're not just praying for everything to get solved with a magic wand. We understand it's our agency, but we need the help and for me, that ultimate teacher, the one who has made us all. That's very powerful. Beautiful part.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sue Rosansky is next.
Hi, Sue.
I'm saying hi, but I'm not on. Okay, hi. Okay. I'm gonna read from my own computer. But anyway, please God, rescue me from my distress. Forgive my confusion, although it is great. Help me say yes to what you have set before me. Rescue me from my distress. I know that most of it comes from within me. Help me say yes to what you have set before me. May I learn to open my eyes to see the spring. I know that most of it comes from within me. Let me learn to calm the terror as I would a child. May I learn to open my eyes to see the spring. Perhaps it has been there all along. Let me learn to calm the terror as I would a child. Forgive my confusion, although it is great. Perhaps it has been there all along. Please, God.
Beautiful, Sue, and I really love it.
Sorry.
Oh,
I lost it.
You lost, yeah.
Here we are. Yes.
I love it, and again, I love the asking for help to learn, not just the magic wand. You know, that's a lot of spiritual depth. That we get it. You know, when we imagine that prayer is going to be about asking for everything to be fixed for us, and it's another level of learning that let me learn to calm the terror, forgive my confusion. Let me learn to calm the terror. May I learn to open my eyes to see the spring. Beautiful, Sue. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Do you want to speak to us a little bit?
Sure. So I actually have to ask Sherry about this, but let me say that in case it's not clear, in the first stanza, the second line is from Levy. The third line is from Fisher, and the fourth line is from Manda. They're not mine. I did not write those.
That's okay, but do you realize what you're doing with all of these interpretations is what Jewish liturgy does all the time, which is take one line from here, one line from there, one line, and then to create something new out of all of it.
Right. So
you chose those lines, Sue. I get it that you might not have but you chose them because those lines spoke to you. And were you to do, like you'll see sometimes in the CBST Siddur, we point out in Hine Matov or Matovu where all the different psalms are being quoted from, but they create something new when you take all the individual lines from those different places. So, you know, it would be interesting to publish it with the citations, but you are creating something new with all of those. And
that's what I meant about asking Sherry about, but anyway, about how to give the citation. But anyway, so that was the case. And what happened was I was, you know, just as we were going through the Psalms, I wrote down, you know, when we would go through one, I wrote down a particular line that I liked to remind myself about it. And then, so I had a line, you know, a couple of other lines also written down. And then, and I was going to use one of them, the Manda one, to help me say yes to what you have set before me. I was going to use that as the starting point of the psalm. And then I was cleaning out my dresser on Sunday morning, and I found a notebook from a writing group that I went to about 9 years ago. And this is one of the things that we looked at in that group was a type of a poem called a pantoum. And that is what this is. This is a pantoum, where like it's in 4-line stanzas, and the let's see, I wrote it down so I could say this. Where is it?
Monica Raymond put a link to us to the Poetry Foundation.
Oh, okay. Yes, the second and fourth lines of a stanza become the first and third of the next stanza. And I had written something back in that workshop in this format, and I really liked it, and it worked well for me. So I thought, oh, I could do that. And then I had these lines. So that's what I did.
Wow.
Wow.
A visual and a pantoum all in one day so far.
Wow, I just learned a lot. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks for taking that writing workshop.
Wow.
We benefit from that.
Sarah Siegel is up next.
Okay, of David, channeling a 21st century Jewish lesbian, I bear my soul to you, God. Let me not be my own worst enemy. When I was faithless, I was chronically disappointed. Now I appreciate the 3D artwork my mom gave me, featuring a green and silver leaf tree and Eitz Chaim Hi in Hebrew. When I was faithless, all that I grasped acted like silt and slipped through my fingertips. Your paths, in my experience, are like the Mississippi River. Your ways, though, are direct. You, at your most generous, model it eternally. Have mercy, be kind. Now, please model mercy so that I can forgive myself for early in my lesbian identity, objectifying others and myself, and for early in my career, taking sick days when I wasn't sick, and spending money vaguely. Notice my assets today: earnestness, respect for others' humanity, and harmlessness. I'm reminded further of my mother's artwork gift, V'tomchaha me'ushar. Whenever I feel trapped too, God will remind me that I am not trapped. For example, when I hustle to meet a deadline, I am not trapped. I choose to hustle. Or if I feel stuck in my grief over losing Phoebe the cat, God gets me through it rather than avoiding it with activities that numb me. God, please keep being my refuge and keep my legion of my own negative thought enemies at bay. Keep me focused on demonstrating my assets. Make me your agent too, in helping you redeem the world, including Israel, from our collective suffering over the pandemic, climate change, and more. Amen. Okay.
Wow, talk to us. I love your honesty and your direct, your use of your life as text.
Thanks. Well, so I really did what you have instructed us in the past, and just took the psalm and figured out how it would speak to me. I will also say, give me just a sec. I packed this artwork that I talked about for my mom, so it got cracked, but that's okay. I think it's like wabi sabi, and I have to just fill it up. But can you see it says, here's the tree, and it's Chaim Hilamach Zikim Ba V'tomcha Me'ushar. So I just love this piece of art, and I just love the concept. And this psalm kept, coming back to, it might as well have been, the alternate text could have been Eitz Chaim Hi, although they're talking about Torah, and this was talking about God, cling to God. I still saw the parallels. So that's it.
Beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Love your writing, Sarah. Love your writing.
Thank you. Scott Soloway.
Hi, Scott.
Hi. Okay. I lift up my being, my very breath to you, Hashem. Almighty, allay my fears of being shamed. Allow me your all-protecting trust. Convey boldness and pride to those who look to you with hope. Drive me, direct me down your paths. Elevate me, educate me in your ways. Forget not your everlasting mercy and compassion. Hold your goodness and kindness before me and my shortcomings. Instruct us flawed ones on the road toward goodness and uprightness. Journey with the lowly in finding justice. Keep the guardians of the covenant on the paths of forbearance and truth. Let your forgiveness of my many sins be your namesake. Meet your awe-filled creations on their chosen paths. Nestle me in your goodness and let my children have a place on this earth. Open your secret places to those who fear you, your covenant to those who make you known. Point my eyes always toward you, pry me from the entangling nets. Quench me with grace and with your countenance. How cold and lonely am I without it? Rescue me from the pangs of my heart. Raise me from my distress. See my afflictions and take them away. See my enemies' hate. Turn your protection toward me and save me as I seek refuge in you. Uprightness and integrity protect me as I long for you. Quash our troubles, redeem us as you call us Israel.
Sorry, what a beautiful prayer. What a beautiful prayer. Scott, speak to us.
Well, Rabbi Kleinbaum, what you were saying when you were talking to Ben yesterday really encapsulated what I've been feeling, and it struck me about writing this as well. That when you come to these Psalms and to Judaism from a very particular perspective, and you're brought up with that, or it's hard to break from that. So what I realized that what I've been doing in all of this writing and throughout the class is struggling, sort of toggling back and forth between trying to stay very true to the text and really wanting to break totally free of it. And finding that it's actually very hard to break free of something that is so almost second nature. And when so many of these Psalms, I've said before, and they're almost rote, some of them. And so when you start to actually pay attention to them, there's this impulse to try to, again, break from it, and yet a fear of doing that. So I think a lot of what I've been doing is trying to find a way to go back and forth. And in this one, I tried to stick to the acrostic, and I tried to, and then by the end of it, I realized it was almost kind of like an Avinu Malkeinu in a way. It was like a real.
And I think you're the first one who's done the acrostic in your personal offering, which I love. You know, that's one of the reasons I think Bernstein is good for people to see, especially those of us who come from a frum background. Here's a frum person who's completely a modern Orthodox person, but shows you with permission what it could be to just write your own. You know, that's not, she's still in the Hebrew, she's going to say the very traditional text. She's not going to let go of that. But by her letting go in her own writing, she's developing a level of texture to when she recites it in Hebrew that will change.
Yes.
But I'm with you, Scott. I know this journey. I know this journey well. So
but this has really been a transformative. Thank you, and it's been very transformative for me in my learning. So thank you all.
Beautiful. Thank you, Scott. You added so much. Thank you. And I want folks to notice here, Scott actually did the acrostic part of Psalm 25, which is lovely.
So, Rabbi, if we can go to 10:55, I think that we can get through the rest of the Psalm 25 offerings. Is that okay with you?
Okay, I have it 11 o'clock, so
I
I'm
do
really,
too, yeah.
So we're going to be.
Let's go. Monica Raymond, can you read us your 25 offering?
The Queen of Cups, after Psalm 25. Which way do you want me to go? I have so many thoughts and possibilities, but which of these is really possible? And most importantly, which is the way you want me to go? I assume you see someone else knows, you know, which the way is and which achieves. That looks like possibility, possibly alluring, or is it a matter of choosing. Too late for me to follow the old adage, be fruitful and multiply in the old way. Instead, this multiplicity of songs in my heart, of springs, of wishes, these multiple cities call to me, their spires and cobblestones, ragged coasts on the outskirts, scraggly, grungy, and infertile. So I ask the tarot, and today my card's the Queen of Cups. On her throne, which is partly ocean, her goblet brimming mercy. She who holds every grief and splendor with tenderness, for whom possible and impossible are words
Monica, we're having a very hard time hearing you.
Monica,
dated into
Monica,
who forgives
Monica, there's something.
all the sins of my youth.
Monica, there's something wrong with your connection. We basically got this. So I'm going to leave it at this, and we will be distributing the text, the printed version, so everybody can read it. Okay? And we are. Monica, we can't hear you. Okay? So we're going to go now to Jeremy, who is another, I believe, across.
Psalm 25, Jeremy, I say unto you, or effect, or effect. Adonai, if I write to you acrostically, adhering to philological rules, aspiring to fit what I feel in a form corresponding to a frame around art, finding the drips of Pollock, encasing the swirls of Van Gogh, flattening the three dimensions of cubism, grabbing the essence like the oneness of you, hewing to what is pure like your laws, including together what seems juxtaposed. Judge my effete effort with mercy. Know that I'm a bit shameless. I am not ashamed. Let those who shame you be ashamed. My effort here is to shower you with praise, not letting stray thoughts interfere, opening my heart, circumcising my soul, pouring out in a china teacup, quintessential expression of what I want you to hear. Remember not the rebellion sought in my youth, the trouble of my toils, unwound in your truth, violent afflictions which once tortured me, xenophobic prejudice you defeated zealously. Adonai, now redeem all people from distress and send me someone who loves me.
Wow, Jeremy, and I love, we have another acrostic offering, so beautiful, and you bolded the letters, and I see the 3 A's similar to what the original has, so you really kept to that. That's beautiful. Your writing, of course, so beautiful. Monica, maybe you can do yours tomorrow if we can get the sound cleared up. I'd love to hear you offer yours with a little bit of better sound. But Jeremy, talk to us about writing this. Love it.
Well, I decided I would do an acrostic, and I felt that that was a little bit of an affectation for effect. And so I wrote it, and the ending is a reflection of the week ending of the psalm itself, which I can't remember, Alter, I think, talks about it maybe being patched on.
Yep.
So I patched on one of mine.
Well, and I love that your coda there, and I love that you go back to the A, and beautiful. Love this, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Really fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori Krotman, are you here?
Yep, I'm here. Okay, here we go. I bathe my feet to wash away the dirt that clings to my skin, my heart, my soul. But my toes get stuck in the nets that float in the water, waiting to trap the unaware. The more I struggle to free myself, the tighter the nets become. And I cannot move or breathe or feel. There must be some way out of here, some clear path through the maze, some net-free way through the cleansing waters that are now murky with my muck. The hour's getting late. The nets are filled with drifting wreckage, ready to sink to the bottom of the abyss. I need to unweave, unravel, unwind, to stop struggling and just relax into the moment and let the nets slowly disintegrate as they always do.
Beautiful. And I love your form, Lori. Talk to us.
Well, the nets, you know, as often I do, I find a phrase or a piece that hits me in the nets. So powerful. Made me think of, remember that Chinese puzzle where you put your fingers inside, and the more you struggle to get out, the tighter it becomes, and you really have to relax in order to free yourself from that. And that's the way I feel about everything, that what is it, what you resist persists, and sometimes you just have to step back and, you know, take an inch or two from yourself and let it go. It's the only way to be free, in my experience. So.
Beautiful. And tell us a little bit about your structure here in formatting.
Well, you know, it's funny. I don't really think about it too much. I write it. I know I have a thought, and then the thought breaks itself down into 2 or 3 lines usually. So each paragraph really is a thought that leads to the next, but that's how
Beautiful. And that's the energy of your piece altogether. It all leads into the other. And I just love this, to stop struggling. Isn't that an important goal? Just relax, stop struggling so much. Sometimes, and I think that's a very profound and beautiful point to be making within the context of this psalm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lori.
So for our last written offering, Michael, would you like to share yours with us? Michael Goldstein? Michael, are you here? Do we see Michael?
I hear you. I just had to get my thing on. All right, I made a mistake. It says a free interpretation based on Sepharia. No, it's based on Levi.
Okay, I'll change it.
All right, so this is Psalm 25, right?
Yep.
I aim for goodness, relying with confidence that doing good will not fail to shield me from victorious foes. All humans who turn to goodness will not be punished. People who reject the good will have nothing. Show me the way to the good life. Direct me because I believe in the good eternally. Ignore my immature errors. Focus on my own goodness that reflects yours. Goodness instructs the meek and directs them, resulting in firm reverence for doing good. Though wickedness may be serious, forgive it in the name of goodness. Reveal the right way to a fulfilled existence for future generations. Good advice is revealed to the apprehensive. Focus on the good, and it will untangle me. Have compassion for my conflicts and solitude. Anxiety grows. Help me in my distress. See my distress and pardon it. See my foes and how unfairly they despise me. Help me. Do not abandon me, for I seek the good. My purity and honesty protect me as I seek the good. So may goodness rescue Israel from its travails.
Wow, that's so beautiful, Michael. I just love how you follow through with your theme and your sense of confidence and a feeling of what goodness will ensure. Do you want to say anything about writing this?
Only that I was encouraged to work on this, it was very difficult for me to get into it. But once I did, I just took the Levy line for line, and then I
Good.
just translated it.
Beautiful. Michael, you need to keep writing. Really keep writing. It's really beautiful.
Thank you very much.
And then we will close out Psalm 25 with Noreen, with Dean's visual offering. Dean?
Hi. This psalm was tough for me because I feel as I said, our psalm's protagonist, the little match with the green match, his body is burned at the bottom, and above it slightly are traces of color. And if you look in this, his path, he sees the, he's asking Adonai for for a path forward, as many of us feel that. And how do you move towards this, through this world and all the damage we have done? I'm very, very aware of, when I was a youth, there was no plastic in the 50s, very little. People had brown paper bags, so on and so forth. And when you compare the world we live in now to what the world I was given as a child, it's just immeasurable, the harm we have done. And I think we have, well, anyway, so there are traces of the circles of color moving about that, which is, above, which is for that path, and also the memory of that. So and color to me represents literally represents the beauties of creation in the world. So with that.
And you flipped 90 degrees this time.
These are studies. These are backed with study formats. So this is smaller. Yeah, this is.
Beautiful, Dean. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you all so much. We did it.
Thank you, everyone. Such spectacular offerings today. The range, the depth, the creativity, the breadth of what we as a community are creating, just so moving to me, so deeply, deeply moving. So I want to remind folks, if you want to come to serve, if you're in New York City or in the area and want to come to services, you can still register for Friday night's service. We're limited, vaccine only, social distancing. Members and not yet members are welcome. And then on Monday night, we're going to be having a town hall for members to talk about high holidays and the impact on the various news that's emerging about Delta is going to have on our plans for high holidays. That information will go out on Thursday or Friday for members to sign up for that town hall.
Okay.
All right, folks, thanks everybody. Thank you, Harold, for all of your organizational genius and sensitivity, and thank you to everybody for your souls, your creativity, and for the depth of your contributions. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, see everybody tomorrow.